Hello viewers, welcome to the African News Update on Top Accolade News. First, the headlines. Mali's Junta leaders diplomatic tour in Niger. African and Caribbean nations unite for slavery reparations. Ivory Coast welcomes former Prime Minister's return. Details coming up shortly. In politics, Mali Junta leaders diplomatic tour in Niger. General Abdurrahman Tiani, the military ruler of Niger, is currently in Mali on his first foreign trip since taking power in July. This marks a significant diplomatic engagement between the two nations. General Tiani, who seized power in a coup, asserts that Niger will return to civilian rule within 3 years. Notably, Mali and Burkina Faso, both neighbors of Niger, are also under military leadership following coups since 2020. The three countries have pledged solidarity in the face of international condemnation and sanctions, with a shared focus on addressing security challenges posed by Islamist militants conducting frequent attacks. Additionally, Mali has postponed its presidential election scheduled for early next year. The situation remains fluid, and we will continue to monitor and update you on further developments. Away from that, African and Caribbean nations unite for slavery reparations. In a groundbreaking summit held in Ghana, a global movement for slavery reparations has emerged, with the African Union joining forces with Caribbean countries. Delegates from 55 African Union member states and 20 Caribbean community countries formed a united front to seek reparations from former slave-owning European nations. The partnership aims to intensify pressure on these nations and has announced the establishment of a global fund based in Africa to accelerate the campaign. While a draft proclamation does not specify the forms of reparations, it indicates exploration of litigation options and collaboration with the United Nations to assess historical violations of human rights. The Accra Proclamation is expected to be released soon. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo emphasized the profound impact of slavery on Africa's progress and called for formal apologies from European nations involved in the transatlantic slave trade. This marks a significant step in the global pursuit of reparatory justice. Still in politics, Ivory Coast welcomes former Prime Minister's return. In a notable announcement, the Ivorian government has declared that the former Prime Minister, Guillaume Soro, in exile for 4 years, can return to the country. Government spokesperson Amadou Coulibaly stated that the country is open to Soro's return, emphasizing that the decision on enforcing his convictions lies with the Ivorian justice system. Soro, a key political figure, left Cote d'Ivoire in 2019 following a dispute with President Alassane Ouattara. Despite facing prison sentences, the government highlights its commitment to the return of self-exiled figures, underscoring the openness of the nation. The former rebel leader and prime minister had been sentenced in absentia for 20 years in prison for complicity in embezzlement of public funds, and later to life imprisonment for endangering the security of the state. You are watching the news on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Moving into economic affairs, World Bank suspends access to unwithdrawn loans in Liberia. The World Bank has suspended Liberia's access to unwithdrawn loans after the country defaulted on loan repayments by 60 days. The decision, conveyed in a letter to Liberia's Finance Minister Samuel Tuer, comes under the administration of outgoing President George Weah. Liberia's right to withdraw from the disbursing loans and specific trust fund grants is temporarily altered until the debt to the World Bank is serviced. This suspension has immediate implications for the incoming administration led by President Joseph Boakai, impacting Liberia's capacity to borrow from other lenders. Negotiations with the World Bank for repayment terms will be a crucial task for the new leadership shaping the country's economic trajectory. Regarding infrastructural development, Senegal inaugurates United Nations regional headquarters near Dakar. Senegal marks a momentous occasion as President Macky Sall inaugurates the United Nations regional headquarters near the capital, Dakar. The United Nations House, located in the new town of Diam Unadio, will serve as the hub for all United Nations operations in Senegal and the wider West and Central African region. Built at a cost of $291 million by a private Senegalese company, the complex spans 13 acres and will house 34 United Nations entities with 2,400 employees. President Sall expressed the country's renewed commitment to the United Nations, emphasizing Senegal's contribution to the ideals of peace and global cooperation. Moving into sport, Rwanda's football's triumph in World Cup qualifiers. Rwandan football is in the spotlight after an impressive start to the African 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Amavubi football legends are rallying behind the national team, expressing support and optimism following a bright performance. The team, led by German head coach Frank Spittler, secured a convincing 2-0 victory over South Africa, adding to the momentum gained from a goalless draw with Zimbabwe. This remarkable start places Rwanda at the top of Group C with 4 points. Football veterans like Desire Umbona Bokia and Mehdi Kagere are applauding the young team's performance, drawing parallels to the glory days of 2004 when Rwanda stunned the continent. As Rwanda faces upcoming matches against Nigeria, Lesotho and Benin, the message is clear: keep that momentum. That concludes our African news update for today. Stay tuned for more news and development from across the continent. Thanks for joining us. I am Jonathan Pobe. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.